SH Figuarts Broly Super was released domestically in Japan on the 14th of September as an over-the-counter release for the retail price of 7,500 yen or about 70 US dollars. Obviously prices range depending on where you pick him up, but you can probably find him for a little less if you pre-ordered him. If not, your usual US-based online stores like BBTS or overseas-based sites like AmiAmi might still have him in stock. I believe he gets a stateside release next month, so not too long before Broly makes his way over. Alright guys, let's get straight into it. Once again, Tamashii delivers another solid release. Like literally, Broly is a pretty hefty figure with some nice weight to him. Obviously not quite as chunky as Full Power Broly, but you can definitely see the similarities. Little design cues. Powered down Broly borrows from the Full Powered Broly, mainly from the waist down. The green fur sash once again is a separate piece, the back on a hinge and the other two pieces that hang over the top are made from the same soft plastic, just like Full Power Broly. You get all that beautiful sculpted fur detail, and the underside is painted just like Full Power Broly as well. Basically everything you see here waist and leg wise is pretty much a scaled down version of this guy, as it should be. They are the same character, and I'm glad that they did reuse that design from Full Power Broly, as it does retain all of that great leg articulation, but I'll get into that a little later on. Going back up to the torso, we get the new Saiyan armor with the squared off shoulder pieces. If you turn him around, you can see the shoulder pads are attached via large ball hinge joints to accommodate for all that articulation he has in his shoulders and arms. I really like the new Saiyan armor design. It kind of mixes up things a little bit and gives us more of a variety to what we've seen in the past. Everything looks very clean. Some nice paint detailing around the collar and on the shoulder pads. Though I did get a little overspray on mine on the back of the left shoulder pad here. Not the end of the world. Like Full Power Broly, we do get some lovely shading going on with his arms, mainly on his skin, his exposed skin area. The scars on his left arm is sculpted and painted, just like Full Power Broly. I really like that they did that. Some shading around his chest area and the back of his neck as well. So Tamashii has been killing it with their head sculpts. I just love the way that they look. I think I've seen the movie now 4 or 5 times, and these head sculpts are exactly how Broly is animated in the movie, especially his Ikari head. I just love the way that they did his eyes, which is exactly how he looked in the movie. Both the Ikari and the Super Saiyan heads are exactly the same. One obviously painted in a yellow with some shading going on, a very nice detailing, and the other a flat black. Just giving you guys a quick 360 view of all 3 forms. It's really tempting to buy 3 of these just to have Broly in all of his forms together. I know some people are saying that this body isn't 100% accurate and doesn't fit all 3 forms. You can see in the original design work, I'm sure you've all seen this already, Enraged Broly, Ikari Broly, whatever you want to call him, is actually a little bulkier than Super Saiyan Broly. Not as much as Full Power Broly, but there is a significant size increase between his normal state and when Broly powers up to Super Saiyan. In a perfect world, yeah, sure, would have been nice to see a body dedicated specifically to each form, but I can live with this. Just look at them all together. You can't tell me that they don't look fantastic, all standing next to each other like this. Alright guys, looking at articulation, so first up the head. Because of all the hair Broly has on the back, on his sides, and this is the same for the Super Saiyan head and for the base form head as well, you're not going to get too much range of motion going up. Not at all actually. He can't actually look up, but he does look down quite far because of that neck joint. It does allow him to look down pretty nicely. He does have his standard side to side, left and right. And he does have a little bit of tilt as well. Not too much, but it is there. Looking at Broly's shoulders, he does have some pretty unique shoulders, which allows him to bring his shoulders, arms forward like that. But they also allow him to move his shoulders further up than your standard figure. Those shoulder joints butterfly joints, as you can see here, are actually on ball joints. So that's pretty nifty. Those shoulder pads, as I mentioned before, they are on ball hinge joints. So you can get these shoulder pads to move up, side to side, and completely out of the way. You can actually get them to go all the way back like that. So yeah, it doesn't hinder the shoulder articulation at all. You can just, pose the shoulders, position them the way that you want them, and then just put the shoulder pad back on. So yeah, pretty easy. The shoulders have 360, and it does move way past 90 degrees, which is fantastic. He does have a bicep swivel. It is a little tight, but it is there. Double jointed elbows past 90 degrees, which is great. And you do get swivels and hinges at the wrist. Broly's torso, he's broken up into two parts, his upper torso and his lower torso. So he does get some side to side, some decent movement in his torso. One thing I do have to mention is that because this green piece here is hard plastic, you got to be careful when you're moving him around. You might scuff him up a little bit around the ab area. My copy here, there are some scratch marks appearing already, so do be careful when you pose him. He does have a waist swivel as well, which is quite nice. He doesn't get much ab crunch, unfortunately, or much going back either. Just like Full Power Broly, his green fur sash, it is on a hinge, so he does, or you can get it to move out like that, and it does stay in that position. The two side parts here are again made from that softer rubbery plastic, so when Broly does the splits, no problems there, going side to side, and no problems going back and forward as well. So really happy about the articulation, the leg articulation. Great thing about this this figure is that he can drop his legs down. You can extend the legs, and you can actually make Broly taller if you wanted to. So if you're going to be buying, multiple copies of this guy to have him in each form, you can give him some variation. Maybe have this version of Broly a little stockier, a little shorter, and have his Super Saiyan form a little leaner, a little taller. It's up to you, but there is that option. He does have a upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees, a swivel at the ankle. He moves his foot this much down, not much up. Toe articulation. And you do get ankle pivot, and there's a noisy motorbike in the background. Sorry about that, guys. So Broly does come with 3 heads, as I mentioned earlier. As you guys already know, 3 head sculpts for each of his 3 individual forms or states, whatever you want to call it. You get his base form head, you get his suppressed kind of rage form, Ikari, I think is what they're calling him in the card game. Probably my favorite head sculpt out of all of them. Looks fantastic. Love the eyes, love what they did with the eyes. And of course you get the Super Saiyan head as well, which is just a repaint of the Ikari head, but obviously yellow. And the funny thing is that you can actually swap out all the faceplates. So don't know why they didn't include extra faceplates. They could have easily just repainted, for example, the Super Saiyan faceplate, the gritting teeth, black, and we could have had an extra faceplate for his Ikari form. I'm sure it had to do with budget. They ran out of money. And that's probably why we didn't get any effect pieces as well. Which is one of the minor gripes I have about this figure, this set. Really do wish they would have included some effect pieces. That looks kind of funny. But yeah, all the face plates work with all the head sculpts. So I think it would be really easy, I guess, to get, if you do decide to get multiple copies of these, maybe repaint some of the face plates. And yeah, get some extra options for your Broly. There we go, guys. So for accessories, Broly does come with 3 sets of hands. He comes with his standard fists. You get 2 kind of blast or grabbing hands. And these hands are pretty much just scaled down versions of the full power Broly hands. I'm going to show you, this is the full power Broly grab hand. Exactly the same sculpt. Skin tone's a little different. But yeah, pretty much the same. Which is cool, they are nice hand sculpts. And last but not least, you do get slightly more open palmed hands as well. Full power Broly hands, exactly the same. I guess not really an accessory, but he does, or his shock collar, made from this kind of thin silver hard plastic, is removable, so you can take that off his neck. It does actually come separate, packaged. But yeah, you can take this off when you remove the head sculpts. So yeah, I guess you can, you know, count this as an accessory if you want to. So I went down to Tokyo early yesterday morning, thought there would be a huge line for this guy, just like Full Power Broly. Got to the place where I usually buy my Figuarts, and there was nobody. An hour and a half later, I was first one in, Broly was finally in hand, and I was a happy camper. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Broly hype is kind of dying down a little. Still, I wouldn't have had to run down to Tokyo if all pre-orders weren't sold out so quickly. So don't get me wrong, this figure is still very, very sought after, and so he should be. I really can't floor it in any way except for the lack of accessories. Again, with some much needed energy effects and with extra face plates, you know, the minor overspray on my copy, and if I really want to get nitpicky, I probably would have made his chest, or at least that green middle section there, a softer plastic or something. You know, just to avoid future scuffing around that area. Other than that, I really love this figure, maybe even more so than Full Power Broly. That might be a little biased, since I do prefer the Saiyan armor design over the shirtless look, but this figure was just really well executed. And though he lacks the accessories, I still had a lot more fun posing him with Goku and his mates, especially since he came with the 3 different heads for the 3 individual forms. No, he isn't perfect, but he does come pretty close given more accessories. And again, I'm sure that has to do with budget. Broly is definitely up there with some of my favorite figures this year, like Super Buu, and is well worth your purchase. And to be honest, I really didn't expect Tamashii to give us this version of Broly, so it's definitely a fan service figure in my opinion. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this figure. More belts to come, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, so if you did miss out, you can get in order. Again, I will be making those belts for Goku 2.0 again. I'll be working hard to get as many done as I can. And yeah, let me know, guys, would you be interested in seeing these energy effects that I made for Broly? I don't know if I can get enough people interested. I think I'll definitely consider producing more of them, you know, for the general public. Anyway, next review will probably be the Figuarts Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which does come out this month, the end of this month. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell button so you know when that video comes out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, have a fantastic weekend, or what's left of it, and I'll be seeing you all real soon. Yoroshiku!